In this video, we're going to be talking about how to make more efficient plans. This was a request from a YouTube viewer, possibly subscriber, but a viewer who left a comment on what he would like to see next. Now, this question is kind of broad, kind of vague, but I'm going to do my best here because I think the core of the question is about productivity. And the first thing I would recommend is check out all the other videos I've created on my YouTube channel on productivity. If you go search, there are tons of videos, over 1,000, and many of them cover productivity or time management. But here's a fresh one to cover that question. And so he talked about efficient plans. And what I think he means by this is that many people plan, they prepare in order to do things. And that's a good first step or first habit. But how do you actually plan things so that when you do them, they're done in the most efficient manner so that you're not wasting time, you're not getting distracted, you're not getting pulled away, and so that you can have your week, your day mapped out in a way that doesn't lead to wasted time? So I think this is a very fair question. And one could argue it's a beginner fundamental step of productivity. So obviously preparing gets you ahead of the curve because many people, they don't prepare. And so you're already ahead of the pack. What do most people do? They wake up, whatever is thrown at their face, oh, let's do that, let's do this. They may make decisions off the cuff. And oftentimes they're at the whims of whatever is thrown at them. So if there's an event going on that day, if someone pulls them away and says, hey, can you help with this? That's what they'll do. By the end of the day, maybe they don't feel accomplished, and that's not a good thing. Or maybe they found that they don't do the most impactful thing. So I think the basic framework that you should use, and this is a very common thing in the world of productivity and personal development, but essentially you want to map out your priorities. And one way of doing that is something where you start at the 5-year goal level and you work your way back. So for example, let's say your big goal is in 5 years, you want to earn 6 figures net after tax. Well, to do that, you'd have to make a certain amount of money to do that. And so you can start to map it back. You could say, okay, to get there in 5 years, in year 1, I need to do X, Y, and Z. Then you break that down to a monthly level, a weekly level, and then finally a daily level, and there you do go. You have your top priorities that you have to get accomplished per day. And something that's kind of a big goal or a vague goal can be kind of hard to piece together from 5 years. So maybe you start at the 1-year level or even the 6-month level, and then you work your way back. If you're someone who's new, you don't even know what things you have to do to try out to see if you're passionate about them to make that money. So you may work it out to the daily level to try things out, like try out drop shipping for a week, and then try out something else, Amazon Kindle publishing for another week. And that's how you really map out those big priorities. And once you have those priorities in mind, then you can start to work on them. You know, and you've mapped out what you need to work on. So all the other things that happen during that day, you can shift and intentionally put them off. You could argue procrastinate on them because you know they're not the most important thing. And so by knocking out the most important thing at the start of your day, you feel accomplished. You know you've done it. And you don't let the whims of distractions and stuff keep delaying you until you do all this stuff, but none of it's the most important thing. And then by the end of the day, you're tired or you get distracted and it gets put off to the next day. Plus, once you finish that thing, which may not take the whole day, it may only take a couple hours, then you feel good, you feel satisfied, and then you can goof off the rest of the day and you still feel accomplished. So that's a very fundamental thing about productivity that you should start to consider. Now, if you're in school or if you have more simple, tangible goals, things become much easier. Now you don't have these vague things that you have to pull from. You have specific things that you need to accomplish. Namely, and usually straight A's or straight B's or whatever you're aiming for, that higher realistic level that you need to attain. And you can start mapping that out. I recommend a calendar. No matter what you're trying to do, put together some type of calendar that you use. I have learned the hard way many times that, at least for my personality, without a calendar, you're going to forget stuff. You're going to miss stuff. And it really hurts when you miss a meeting and you feel so embarrassed, or it costs you a job opportunity, an internship opportunity, or it just ruins your reputation because you keep missing those meetings, you're late. People sense that. Some people don't care, but some people are really rubbed the wrong way by that. So by understanding that and using Google Calendars, you can kind of supplant the mistakes that I've made and avoid making them. And so when you have that calendar, let's say you're using Google Calendar, you don't have to fill it out every minute of that day. Hey, heck, it could be a journal, like a print calendar if you want. But the thing is, you want to just write down, it can even be blocks of time. So let's just say 9 to 12 p.m. It could just be a big block and just say like, hey, this is my most important priority, get it done by here. Then you'll get that alert and you'll know what to do. It could vary on a day-to-day basis. Maybe on a Thursday, you care more about making sure that you study for a history test. And then on Friday, it's about making sure you get your chemistry homework complete, or whatever it is. Maybe it's maybe your real workday starts when school ends, and that's 3 p.m. That's when you mark it off and you get it done. So as you can see, by having some level of tangible plan and prioritizing, and then distilling that down from a high level to a lower level, you can get very specific and clear results and goals and to-do list items. I just finished a book, which I went through twice, called Extreme Ownership. It's a very popular book by some Navy SEAL leaders. And they talk about this stuff in this book as well, surprisingly enough. And it correlates. What he does and how they explain it is they break down complex strategies into stupid simple instructions for their lower level soldiers. It's not demeaning, it's not condescending, it's because things are complicated enough already. Any type of confusion just leads to potentially horrific outcomes, people dying and stuff. So while it may seem complex on the surface, when you drill down to it, everyone's specific instructions are oftentimes stupid simple, and they know what they need to do. Oftentimes it's being executed simultaneously, and because of that simplicity, they avoid a lot of issues. They create a lot of possibilities because of a decentralized command that they can now do because everything's dead simple, and there's no miscommunication or misinterpretation through a game of telephone. So by embracing that in a similar way, you can knock out that big goal, let's say get straight A's, into small, simple to-do list tasks. Okay, in order to get straight A's, I need to maintain what I'm doing in these classes, and I need to maybe improve in these classes. Okay, how can I break that down to improve in those classes? Well, I usually don't do well on the test. How can I do better? What if I studied 20 minutes more 2 times a week? Now you've got 2 tangible priorities that you can block off on your calendar, and boom. When you wake up, you know what to do. You've planned it out, and all of a sudden you're doing stuff that others aren't doing. It's really simple, guys. At the end of the day, it boils down to changing your behavior if you want to change your results. Now, how do you change your behavior in a way that's impactful and effective? It comes down to identifying what's impactful or effective, which may require some testing. You might test things and you realize, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to help. That's fine. That's part of the process. Until you find those things that matter, you get them done, and then boom, there you go. So I have a question for you to end off this video if you watched the whole thing. Thank you for watching, by the way. Have you subscribed to my channel? And what other productivity tips around planning and building an efficient plan have you discovered in your own life that you would like to share with this community? Please keep this positive and help out our community by leaving a comment with your own tips and your experience and all those details about how it worked, how it didn't, so that we can all benefit. Thanks, and I'll see you later.